Look at what your liberation of Libya did. I'd like to hear from the Air Force about the liberation of Libya. Let's look at Yemen, the drone strikes. Senator Heinrich, I think you talked about drone strikes. Let's look at what the drone strikes have done to help destroy Yemen, that's now in the midst of a civil war and has no government. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Budget values. You talk about our values as a country you can look at through our budget. What about the values of the other parts of our government that are being cut because so much of our money is going to the military? Like the money we need to take care of the homeless people and the freezing cold crisis, the money we need to improve our education system, to really have a good healthcare system that meets the needs of our people, the crumbling infrastructure, all the money that you spend on these failed wars, the trillions of dollars we spent in Iraq and Afghanistan could have gone to actually making people's lives safer and saving a hell of a lot of lives. And if you really want to help the soldiers, don't send them off to fool's errands overseas. Use the military to protect us here at home, not to go making new enemies and to go fueling extremism. And speaking of extremism, John McCain just came from Saudi Arabia. Did he talk to the Saudis about the extremism that they're fueling? Did he talk to the Saudis about all the money that they are spending to spread Wahhabism around the world? Or maybe did he even bring up the issue of the way the Saudis flog people for blogging, or that they can't let women drive? Maybe it's our alliances with repressive regimes like the Saudis that are making us less safe. Why don't you cut our ties with those repressive regimes? That would help a lot. So I have sympathy for the military because so many of your commanders send you off into these fool's errands overseas. But I want to know why you can keep saying the military is the best in the world if we don't win these wars. What's the war the U.S. has won since World War II? Maybe Grenada, a country of 100,000 people maybe? Failed wars because it's failed policies. This isn't the way to win hearts and minds overseas. Stop supporting repressive regimes like the Israeli government. In fact, if we stopped supporting Israeli repression, we would win a lot more hearts and minds, particularly among Muslim people in the world. So why don't we go back to square one? Audit the Pentagon. If the Pentagon can't pass an audit, I don't think another tax dollar should be given to the Pentagon. Why do I have to pass an audit? Why do you have to pass an audit? Why does every other agency in this government have to pass an audit, but the Pentagon is incapable of passing an audit? Let's talk about all the waste and the fraud and the abuse in the Pentagon itself. John McCain actually talked about the Navy and all the wasteful and incompetence in the Navy. How come he didn't bring that up here? Why don't we talk about the drone strikes? Instead of this Senator Heinrich talking about more drone strikes, why don't we talk about the 6th grader that was just killed in the drone strike we did in Yemen on Monday? After the Yemeni government fell, we can't even say we have the support of the Yemeni government because it doesn't exist. Let's talk about the 6th grader that we killed with the drone strikes. Let's talk about all the innocent people we've killed and why it makes us more hated throughout the world. So you have this circular logic going on here. We have these soldiers who had come back with PTSD. They kill themselves at an unprecedented rate. And so let's give more money to the veterans. Okay, but let's stop sending them off into wars that give them PTSD. You talk about the difficulty of recruiting in the military. Well, if you didn't send them off on fool's errands, wars that we aren't winning, maybe we wouldn't have a problem with recruitment. So there are so many things that haven't been said here. But when you're talking to the military, ask him what's the last war he won. Were you around in Vietnam? Did you win that war? Were you around in the invasion of Iraq? Did you win that